This is an extended preview of a Southern Gothic horror story that you can pick up in the upcoming issue of Promethean magazine, some of the illustrious editors of which are with us at this very moment. So I am hoping to leave y'all with a cliffhanger. This is The Compound, or Homesteaders. I mean, the girls, the drugs, the social climbers, the paparazzi, the fans, all the fucking sycophants. None of it means anything. He waved a visibly manicured hand vaguely in the air. I had to change my life, get off the grid. Lived in one of my vans for a few months, surviving off of magic mushrooms. Went on a vision quest, and this is where it took me. He splayed his hands. God's country. They call it the heartland for a reason, you know? I'm a farmer now, living off the earth. It's simple. He nodded vigorously, his skull jerking back and forth like a bobblehead. I've got my land, my wife, that's all I need. Are you married? I shook my head. Oh, that's all right, he said. That's okay. You're young. You got time. Just don't waste it. I grimaced, wet my dry, cracked lips, and kept following him. The idea, Fournier was saying, is that eventually every road on the homestead will lead to the church. We're building a functional ecosystem, a self-sustaining community. I glanced around again, trying to determine who exactly he meant by we. I didn't see anyone else around, and all the houses seemed deserted. Even the plants looked dead. Right now, it's just me and the wife. Fournier shot me a sidelong glance. But the rest will come. This is Holy Land, or, well, it's going to be Holy Land. We're going to make it holy. He was nodding to himself again, his Adam's apple bobbing like a dinghy. It's an investment in the future. Truth be told, I was getting a little lost and wasn't exactly sure what he was trying to tell me. This homestead of his seemed more like a half-built plantation-themed festival ground than the foundation of a fully autonomous community. But what did I know? Rich people start their own weird little cults all the time. As the dirt track wound us past the crumbling shell of the church, I found myself staring at some movement behind the tree line where a few of the narrow paths disappeared into dark underbrush. What's out there? Fournier snapped out of his reverie and followed my gaze. Oh, well, you know, we can't tame all the wilderness. He paused for a moment and then added a little sheepishly. We had a bit of a wild bobcat problem in the woods when we first moved in. I thought I'd shot the last of them, but I must have missed one. A little worried it's been eating our chickens. I turned to look at him and raised an eyebrow. Why not just lock him up at night? Fournier let out a hoarse, uncomfortable bark of a laugh. Ha! No, the wife wouldn't like that. By that point, we'd circled back to the main house and he was fishing through his pockets for his keys. She's religious. Saved my life back in the day. She's the one who convinced me to buy up this land and rebuild the old church. He paused and scratched his jaw. Of course, that was before the money ran out. We had to put the project on pause for some time now, been about 10 years by my count. His eyes flicked over my shoulder to the sagging skeleton of the church. I followed his gaze and squinted at it. The wood was rotting and the whole structure seemed to shudder and flex whenever the dry wind picked up. It almost looked like it was breathing. But, Fournier said, flourishing one hand in the air, things have changed. When I turned back to look at him, he was smiling that too broad, too white smile again. His expression calm and serene, his bright blue eyes almost as light as the pale, oppressive sky. We've been struck by divine inspiration, he said, tapping a finger to his temple. So it's time for me to go back to Hollywood and start acting again so we can rustle up the funds to finish what we started here. A self-sustaining religious community right here on our land. Out of curiosity, I tried cutting in. What religion are we talking about here, exactly? Fournier froze. He stared at me like I had slapped him. His eyes had gone wide and unblinking, and the color had drained out of his face. His Adam's apple bobbed. Then he shook his head to clear it and grinned. "Come on in," he said, cocking his head inside. "I'll show you." He stepped into the big house without another word, and I followed.